People deluded, I'm back again. Now, obviously, it's international break and there's not much going on in football, if you can say that. We all know football never switches off. But the Master and Apprentice, Thierry Henry and Arsene Wenger have been in the headlines. So, with there not being much to speak about, we might as well speak about the headlines. Firstly, in regards to Wenger, before I get into it, congratulations for receiving his Lifetime Achievement Award. I believe that he'll be presented with. In fact, a quick copy and paste of a Google suggests that the award ceremony recognizes companies and individuals shaping the future of sport with an international focus. The awards will bring the world of sport together for a night to remember at the iconic Natural History Museum during Leaders Week in London in October. So, yeah, man, it's a good award to be recognised for. I'm sure Wenger throughout his time has amassed many similar awards, but you can never have too many. And say what you want to say about the manager in his recent years at Arsenal, but on the grand scheme of things, over the lifetime of the Premier League and since he's been in there, he's helped shaped it. He's helped revolutionise it. He's made history in this Premier League, and not just in the Premier League and in England, but football in general. Say what you want about Wenger when it comes to young players, when it comes to philosophy and all the Disney Channel stuff and all the great stuff in football. He's there in the same way you got Ryan Michels and you got Johan Cruyff. So, like it or not, Arsene Wenger FC, we roll again, man. But in better news for Arsene Wenger, we know he's not had a job at the moment in the sense that allegedly there's been discussions with certain clubs. He's typing his name in Google. There's a next rumor every week, but PSG want to give him a role, not as the manager, of course. They've got Tuchel, but in the grand scheme of things, again, Google comes up with that they want to make him, they want to place him inside their backroom structure to the point where he'll just be below. Forgive me for pronouncing his name wrong, but Nasir, sorry for that, people, but Nasir anyways, innit? He'll just be below him, and I mean that will be good for him. It will still be hands-on. He'll still be required to do a lot, but it won't include the pressures of being a manager, the day-to-day findings of being a manager, the dealing with players, player conflicts, justifying why players ain't playing, and the rest of it. I've been reading a lot of stuff since he's actually retired that comes out about him, and allegedly he's enjoying his retirement more so than he thought, and that's what you want to see about Wenger, man. You've had a long career. It's been, as much as you've given us good things to look at in football, it's a draining position. It's taken a lot out of you, something you recognise. It's cost you time with your family and friends. It's cost you time doing other things you might not get back. So it's nice to see you enjoying yourself in good spirits. You see him on the beach. You see him doing sports. So the last picture I saw, he was playing at a charity footballing event with Platini and that. So it's a good thing for him. But it will be a good role for him if he was to get that position at PSG, because I sense that the main thing they'll be looking at is his expertise, is his opinions of certain things, and there's no way around it. Say what you want to say about him as a manager, but he's had to be an economist, he's had to be a project manager, he's had to be a lot of things more so than a manager at this club. So he's got a lot of experience that PSG can tend to and things like that. Obviously, he's got a good relationship with PSG as a whole and their owners, so that could be a thing that they look through. But yeah, it also says, while there are no signs of the union in the short term, of him obviously getting this in the short term, PSG decision makers would like to hand Arsene a powerful role, not strictly to the director of football position. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be director of football. My personal opinion, it will just be some artificial ad hoc sort of expertise role. As Wenger will lean on you for matters on the pitch, in regards to what possibly we could do to improve ourselves on the pitch, possibly mainly in regards to transfers, shaping the future, maybe the pathway with young players, helping them get to that next level, and leaning on his expertise that he's had at Arsenal and things like that. So yeah, while it's being discussed privately, it's not come out publicly, of course, and it's still just a discussion that's been floating essentially since he's been at they've been the owners of PSG. So it is what it is. Thierry Henry's been linked with the Monaco job. Allegedly, he looked like he was going to go to Villa again. That talk's died down. Apparently, there's discussions to get the Monaco job. So if he gets the Monaco job, that's mad. I mean, he's done the pundit stuff. He's went at Arsenal. He's went to the World Cup and he had a good campaign, as did everybody connected with Belgium's national team. They put themselves in a good light. And we know he wants to cut his teeth managing in his own right. And Monaco will be a good position for him. He's a former player. I mean, I do think there'll be pressure because every managerial position has pressure, but on the sense that realistically Monaco can't expect to win the league, judging by their playing squad and the way they're playing and the depleteness, if that's even a word, of their playing squad, could probably just target Europa League, maybe hope on Champions League, I guess, if nothing's impossible. But you look at Lyon, you look at Marseille to a degree, you look at obviously PSG. There's many sides in there, that couple sides that are looking better than you. So it's a myth. So he could rebuild, he could work with players under the model that Monaco are actually trying to go with. That's actually ironically cost them in the sense of developing and selling players, because they've still got many young players there that have the potential. Obviously, it's a club in his homeland as well, so I don't know if he'll take that, because naturally speaking, he'd probably be under more scrutiny in the same way an English manager, clearly, for managing in England, is under more scrutiny. And then they might be if they went and manage somewhere else. So I don't know if that's something he's recognising. I don't know if that's actually something he favours, managing in his homeland, because he can't be lost in translation. Obviously, every league, every press, every sort of thing connected with the footballing realm in every country, I suppose, must be a bit different. So maybe he knows that better. Maybe he wants to cut his teeth in that better before he goes on to more lucrative jobs. And I mean, Monaco, don't get me wrong, they'll sack him if he's not doing it right. And we hope to God that he does well there. But it's a good job for him to cut his teeth. In a good day, you'd like to think he'd get them back being competitive of sorts, bringing through pathways and achieving relative success, depending on what they call it. Their expectations now should probably be just a Europa League side. So maybe that, obviously, if he was to get Champions League space and he was to continue the pathway, then he could look at more lucrative jobs, like I suppose he wants. But if he was to get the Monaco job today, people, we might as well, I'm sure they're 17th at this moment in time. But let me check, just to be completely sure. So if he was to take over the job right now, people, today, he'd be taking over a side that is... Oh, I was wrong. I thought they're 17th. They're 18th on 6 points. So, yeah, I don't know how relegation actually works in France. Is it 3 teams or 2 teams? But, boy, it's not looking fancy. And you look at the signings, maybe they've depleted this side a bit too much, because you saw Kylian go. You obviously saw Bernardo go. Last year, Lamar looked like he wanted to go and look like half the player from the season before. Maybe just him, Fabinho, and Keita's one took me by surprise. But Keita going back to Italy and joining Inter Milan, maybe them signings have just made them a bit too much of a depleted side, and it's going to take a while to get back to where they are. There's actually talk that at Monaco, obviously, the Jardim might lose his job clearly because of this, and he looks like he's going. It'll be a shame for him, and I think he'll bounce back and get a good job, because he's done great work. It's just these things happen in management and they make him stronger. But there's also talk that that ex-Chelsea guy Umalumo might lose his job as well. But this is all hearsay. This is all just what I'm seeing on Twitter and just rumours. Like you, I don't know what the hell's going on. Or some of you might be sitting there and not have a clue and might just be laughing at this. But on either thought, it's nice to see that both people that were connected with Arsenal that we hold close to our hearts are advancing in their lives. To be fair, for Henry, it's great that he possibly, if it happens, he gets his chance to cut his teeth at a reputable club. For Wenger, it's nice to see he's enjoying his retirement, and that people are still trying to or willing to offer him proposals if and when he deems he's had enough time off. But for now, I've got nothing more to say personally. Guys, DG, I'm out.